Hello and welcome everybody to episode 9 of Bank to the Future Live. For those of you that are here for the first time, this is where we take your questions and do a recap of the week in a number of matters. Firstly, new pitches, what's coming next, BnkToTheFuture.com. For those of you that may be familiar with my content, I tend to give a lot of content on crypto and fintech and stuff, but this one is just dedicated to our BnkToTheFuture.com investors community, BFT token holder, the crypto financial technology space. And this week we're going to be going through a few things, quite a few questions on that. We're also going to go through some of the new pitches that we're currently working on that are set to be live shortly, as well as the ones that are live at the moment. And also some of our portfolio news and updates on companies that have either been invested in or are trading on our secondary markets at Bank to the Future. As usual, we've got Famida here, and she's going to be moderating and going through the questions. So if you're watching this either on Telegram or you're on Twitter or Facebook or just using the live chat, please do give us your questions and we'll try to cover those as we go through. Please forgive me a little bit. I am recovering from a bit of a stomach upset, so I'm not on my top form today, but hopefully I'll be able to get through that anyway, because we've made this commitment to do these Bank to the Future live episodes each and every week to make sure that the community is up to date with all that's happening at Bank to the Future. So we had a bit of a rally in the market. There was a lot of excitement. The Bitcoin pushed past 5,000 up to about 5,300. And now we've had a bit of a correction. I think we're currently back at 5,000, and the alternative and token markets have been pumping as well, and I think we're down for a bit of a correction, and the market's just trying to figure out whether this is a real breakout and whether we're reaching the end of the bear market or whether we're actually going to have a bit more of a time before we break out. But my perception on the market is that it's always good to have this time to build. While it's frustrating for investors and everything's always more fun when everyone's making money and the markets are pumping, it's during these bear markets where the real work gets done, where the real technological breakthroughs happen, and where investors have seen this get these bulls and bear markets for many years now.
Simon, sorry, Simon, I've got to interrupt you because you're under
this is really it's as the market corrects a little bit and the mood changes. What was that? I couldn't hear that.
Simon, sorry. It looks like your internet is pretty bad over there, and the video is lagging and the sound is lagging. So I'm not sure if you can reconnect maybe to a different source of internet and unmute yourself. I'm not sure if you can find the unmute button there, Simon.
Okay, I've changed internet connection. If this isn't any better, we might need to give up.
Yeah, okay.
Is it better?
Yeah, it seems to be better. Yeah, I'll keep you informed.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm not sure how much of that you missed, and maybe we can crop out the beginning of this video to make it a bit more watchable, but a couple of challenges. Obviously the internet's gone a little bit funny at the moment. And also I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, recovering from a stomach bug at the moment. But the goal of this episode is we go live each and every week. I give a lot of content on the crypto and fintech industry in general. And this is just dedicated for our BFT token holders, our BnkToTheFuture.com community, our investors, and companies who are going to be using the platform to raise finance with us. So today I'm just going to go through, before we get round to your questions, some of the updates on new pitches that will be coming shortly, and some portfolio news updates, and also some new developments with the technology and what is coming through. As always, please do like this video, please do share this video. If you're watching this for the first time and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, if you subscribe and hit the bell button next to the subscribe button, then you'll receive notifications every time we go live. And this is where we tend to make our new announcements and new updates first. So, yep. And so I'm just going to go straight into some of the things I wanted to cover this week. Firstly, at the moment on the platform, in terms of the actual pitches that are live for all to see right now, we currently have one pitch, which is Phase, which is a wallet that's making it easier to spend cryptocurrencies using rewards cards and making it spendable in some of the largest household brands. And we've got another really interesting pitch that will be coming soon. We just signed contracts with that we're working on. That's doing really interesting stuff in a similar space, but using Lightning Network and Lightning channels. So we're excited to see the new innovation that's happening in these bear markets when most of the innovation tends to happen. On the other side, if you are a BFT premium, a BnkToTheFuture.com premium member, and for those of you that don't know, the way you become a BnkToTheFuture.com premium member is by holding a minimum of 10,000 BnkToTheFuture tokens, BFT, on your BnkToTheFuture.com account, or by downloading the BF wallet on iOS and Android and connecting that wallet to your BnkToTheFuture.com account and holding a minimum of 10,000 BnkToTheFuture tokens. Then you get access to premium deals that are not available to others. And at the moment, particularly secondary market deals that are about to launch on our secondary market in Q3, Q4 this year, once we come out of beta. And today we're going to go through a bit more of what we're doing in beta before we actually start pushing and letting the world know that you can now get exposure to the largest companies in crypto via the BnkToTheFuture secondary market. And I think while we're in beta, it creates a really interesting opportunity for investors that are more engaged, that know about this before we actually start pushing it, to accumulate some values, some of the assets that might be more undervalued as a result of not too many people deliberately by design knowing about the secondary market yet. And also people that have been looking to get liquidity because they've been in a deal for a long time, and maybe during this bear market, they need some additional liquidity. So the deals that we're working, we've launched the Bitfinex deal. So that's currently trading on the secondary market right now. And that's currently, for those of you that watched different episodes of Bank to the Future Live, I think there was one episode where we discussed about this concept of a liquidity premium straight discount, which is where the secondary market is trading at a discount to the value of the underlying company. So if the company actually exited or got acquired, then it would be the valuation of the underlying company. But sometimes when people invest through Bank to the Future, it's all done through a special company that is backed by the shares in the underlying company. And sometimes if people need liquidity or market conditions prevail, then you could end up acquiring at a discount. And the Bitfinex SPV is currently allowing for people to trade at a discount to the underlying. So there's a liquidity discount right now. But we also finished off the Circle round where we had an allocation, a secondary allocation in Circle, which we will then shortly, once we get out of beta, be adding to our secondary market, the Circle SPV. And we've also recently launched the Coinbase one. So you can see where we're going here. So once we get out of beta, we will have Bitfinex, Circle, Coinbase, SPVs, and more to come and more to follow that we'll be announcing shortly. Also, existing AirTM investors, we're just finishing off the due diligence because they just secured an investment from Coinbase Ventures and another venture capitalist. And so those that are existing investors in AirTM, which is providing US dollar accounts for emerging markets such as Venezuela, they'll be doing a follow-on round, and we've got an allocation for existing AirTM investors. And if those are not subscribed to, then we'll open it up to the wider community and BFT token holders and premium members first. So keep an eye out for that. We still have some allocation left in Coinbase before it goes on to our secondary market in Q3, Q4, the Coinbase SPV. We've already mailed the list, so if you become a new premium member, you won't receive that mail. But as soon as you become a premium member, just contact support and they'll make sure that you get a link so that you can get the final bit of allocation there. I think we've only got a small amount left of approximately $150,000 or so left. And most of that has been subscribed to already, just from BFT premium members. So we don't make those available on the platform. It's a perk for being a Bank to the Future premium member. We'll also be launching, once the Coinbase deal is over, we're going to be doing our initial allocation again. And this time it's a Marmite company. You either love them or hate them. But still, nonetheless, they are, it's Ripple Labs that we'll be doing next. So we'll be doing an SPV allocation in Ripple Labs. I think one of the interesting things about Ripple Labs is that it's actually looking to do a competing interbank settlement, competing with SWIFT, using cryptocurrency as the mechanism to do that, and also other technology that's not necessarily to do with cryptocurrency. But also, I think one of the interesting things about the way that Ripple is set up is that they own approximately 60% of XRP tokens, which is a top 3 coin market cap cryptocurrency, and they own 60% of that. So really, as the value of the cryptocurrency market goes up, if XRP continues to hold its top 3 position, then the equity in the company is really going to benefit from the valuation increase. And one thing that we saw during the last bull market, when everything was getting a bit crazy, is that the value of XRP went up so much that Ripple, the company, actually on paper became a higher valuation than Apple, the company. And so it creates a really interesting scenarios when you hold equity in companies that also are the main beneficiary to some of the tokens. And that creates a really interesting investment class that we haven't quite seen before. Also, look out for premium members as well. We have got an allocation in the Kraken round. So we'll be making that available to our premium members shortly as well. So you can see where this is going. Really, the roadmap at Bank to the Future secondary market is that we are making sure that we can distribute some of our allocations in the most valuable companies in crypto that are household brands and household names. And then putting those on the secondary market so that people can buy and sell those, and eventually we can have really the only live market-driven pricing for the crypto industry in terms of the equity in companies. So we're really excited about that. We're, when we're in beta, we're keeping it a little bit quiet, but later this year, once we come out of beta, we've got a few more features that we want to implement. Until that happens, then we'll be making more noise about that and letting people know. In fact, we were really excited. We just got the adverts back from our videographer for both our BF wallet security token wallet and also the Bank to the Future secondary market that we will be using for YouTube ads and also some various other things and podcast sponsorships and various other things. When we're ready to go, we want the whole market to know about it. And really, while we're not letting too many of the market know about it, that creates an interesting liquidity discount for our premium members. So we think it's all a win-win all around. Another deal shortly to be going live. We've actually got 3 or 4 more in the making, but one of the ones that we're looking forward to that's right at the end, just signing off on the due diligence with our US broker dealer, is Edge, which is a wallet and security solution. So we look forward to bringing that to you. Also, this week, we were very excited to actually do our first little beta test of delivering a security token. And so the security token that we delivered was the lottery.com LDCC token. And that was distributed onto, so for those of that invested in the lottery.com, it's a security token that is, lottery.com is a very big lottery raffle provider. And they've signed up a lot of clients to use their new solution. And 7% of all the revenue from lottery tickets and raffles and subject to the terms on the pitch for those that invested will be distributed through the security token. Now, what is really interesting is that for the first time, we did an integration. So the BF wallet is our our security token wallet, available on iOS and Android. And for those of you that have lottery.com tokens, the security tokens, some of you were trying to withdraw it to your ERC20 token wallet, like MyEther wallet or something like that. And you would have noticed that it failed. The reason is because the way security tokens work is that you have to be whitelisted. And once you are whitelisted, it means that you've complied with securities laws and the various other aspects that are needed in order to allow you to be transferring these security tokens in a compliant environment, which gives you kind of a hybrid model between ownership of assets, but restricted to those that you're able to send them to in exchanges and various other factors. So the way that you need to do that is you just need to go to download the BF wallet, and we've written a guide that we'll share that we've put on our blog. And I'll show you some of that when we go through the portfolio news. If you are a lottery.com investor, then when you connect your BnkToTheFuture.com account, you will see in the security token tab your LDCC token. And there'll be a little button which allows you to pull them off the Bank to the Future platform and onto your personal wallet. And in that process of pulling them from the BnkToTheFuture.com platform onto your BF wallet, we will take your BF wallet Ethereum address and we will whitelist it once you enter any missing details, provided that you're certified and verified on BnkToTheFuture.com. So another reason to complete your profile and get that done. And this is our first iteration out. From there, you can put that onto an exchange, a security token exchange where they're trading, like Open Finance. And then there'll be, as this progresses, we'll be given further details on how to receive some of the profit share distributions from that. So we're really excited to see that progressing slowly but surely. But everything's coming together in the security token market, and we're working on some other exciting things that we'll be announcing in future episodes of Bank to the Future Live. So what I'm going to do now, while I got you, is I'm just going to share my screen so that I can share some of the portfolio updates before we actually start going through your questions. So you'll probably see the famous infinite screen where I disappear into a dot. Just wanted to show you where the roadmap as well. And then the topic of today that I wanted to discuss was also the very first security token in the world. Many people think it's a new thing, but actually Bank to the Future was involved in the very first security token. And that was the Bitfinex hack recovery, which has become particularly topical now. The hack recovery token was actually the token that was responsible. It was a debt-based token that could be converted to equity. But it was actually responsible for recovering Bitfinex from a hack, where instead of going insolvent, they were actually able to pay off their creditors in a record time, be back to trading within 2 weeks. And it was a really great use case of how a security token can actually be used in order to completely outperform the traditional liquidation proceedings that we've seen from, the infamous Mt. Gox, which is still becoming an issue. And it looks like there's another 2 years till creditors will actually receive on top of the 5 years that we've already seen. So it seems like it was a 2-week process using a security token versus a 7-year process using traditional liquidation proceedings. But I'm just showing you right here the secondary market. So if you go to the trade page on Bank to the Future, you can see the Bitfinex SPV. And the way this came about was actually as a result of the very first security token in the world. The way that it actually worked, for those of you that don't know the story, is that in 2016, Bitfinex, as a result of an error in an API integration, they were essentially trying to make it where everyone could transparently see that Bitfinex had all the Bitcoins. And that meant that it was done in a way whereby they were all on chain rather than their traditional cold wallet methodology that they were using before and use today. So in order to provide more transparency, it led to the disastrous event where I think about 119,000 Bitcoin were stolen from the exchange. And some of those, a very small amount of those, have actually been recovered. And there was another interesting story, but that's a bit of a digression because I want to stick to the security token. But the way that it actually worked is they decided, rather than going bankrupt, because they did not have the $72 million that they were in the hole for at the time, and rather than going through the Mt. Gox process, they decided to give a haircut whereby all of their clients' deposits were shaved by 36%. And that's 36%. So if you had $1,000 there, then $360 was missing. It was replaced by a token that essentially was a debt token. It was a token that represented a promise to repay $1. So if you had $1,000, you had $360 worth of this BFX token. Now, where it got really interesting is that market, the security token actually started trading on Bitfinex. And the debt token you could either wait it out and receive your $1 if you believe that Bitfinex was going to recover from the hack through paying off through their revenue and trading fees, or you could just sell it on the market. And immediately people started to do that. It started to sell on the market for 30 cents on the dollar. And the most skeptical people that really didn't believe that Bitfinex would ever recover managed to, well, they lost some funds as a result of it, but approximately 72% of their funds were intact, taking the haircut from there. But as more and more people started to do that, people started to speculate on whether a 30 cents token was actually worth $1. So people that believed that Bitfinex could actually recover started to buy up tokens for 30 cents on the dollar, believing that they would get $1 in the future. Now, at the same time, we launched an equity round on BnkToTheFuture.com for what we call the Bitfinex SPV. So this is here, the Bank to the Future Bitfinex SPV, which is a special company where every share in the SPV, the special company, is backed by 1 share in Bitfinex. What we did is we allowed people to convert their BFX tokens so they could buy them at 30 cents, but they convert them at $1 price in equity in the Bitfinex company. So at the time, the company was valued at approximately $200 million, but people could buy the BFX token for 30 cents on the dollar. And so they could, if they bought it for 30 cents and converted it for $1, then they were buying a $200 million company at $80 million valuation. So some people did incredibly well out of that. As more and more people started to convert, by the end, about $55 million worth of the 72 million was converted into equity. And as the exchange started to recover and they started earning more and more trading fees, they started to repay down the debt until eventually the whole 72 million was either converted into equity or repaid as debt, created the recovery, and that later led to the bull market and Bitfinex becoming one of the largest Bitcoin exchanges in the world. Now forward on to today, and the Bitfinex SPV is the last trade on the Bank to the Future beta secondary market was at approximately $4.75. But the last trade in the actual shares that we know of, the reported trade, and that is the underlying company, was at $16. So you've got a big liquidity discount here for the Bitfinex SPV. And the orders are starting to come in as we're in beta right now. And remember, in beta, we're only accepting USDT deposits. When we come out of beta, we'll actually be looking to accept bank transfers and other payment methods so that we can really increase the accessibility of the Bank to the Future Bitfinex SPV market. And we'll also be adding other companies, yeah, we look forward to any of your feedback while we do that. So just wanted to share to you that there is actually a great buoyant use case for security tokens that has actually happened already, and that was way back in 2016 before security tokens was a word. And fast forward to today, we're issuing the LDCC token using another company that is one of our investments, which is Securitize. So if you go, we always have an archive here of all the pitches. You'll see Securitize here was a very popular pitch that we recently put on BnkToTheFuture.com, which is the protocol that Lottery.com are using in order to issue these security tokens, and the protocol that the BF wallet has actually integrated into. And we're also looking at other integrations. If you want to see an archive, go to the companies page, and you can see all of the companies that we've either invested in or have been listed on Bank to the Future, or we'll be trading on our secondary market. And we're also looking forward to releasing additional due diligence and investor relations features that we're looking at rolling out into the company page section on BnkToTheFuture.com. So we've got a very busy roadmap. We've got lots of exciting things coming. We're also going to start be doing some monthly more public announcements on some of the things we've been working on. A couple of acquisition deals that we've been working on that we're excited to announce. Looking forward to rolling out the secondary market out of beta. Looking forward to doing more security partnerships that we'll be announcing in the coming months. So the final thing that I'd like to do before we start taking your questions, so that you can see that there's a lot going on at Team Bank to the Future during this bear market, and we're really looking forward to, is I'm going to go through some of the portfolio news, and then we'll start looking at your questions. So as we said earlier, we've just done an initial allocation just to our premium members for the Coinbase SPV. Coinbase is pretty much the largest company in crypto. I guess you could compare it to Binance. Very different companies, very different cultures, but taking different approaches. But Coinbase has just launched their Visa debit cards in both the UK and EU. So congratulations to Coinbase. If you would like to become a premium member, you haven't got part of that allocation, then just become a premium member, email into our support team, and they'll get you a link to be able to get some of the allocation if there's any left. Otherwise, you'll just have to wait for the secondary market to come out of beta. The other thing is, if you head over to our blog on BnkToTheFuture.com, just head to the footer, go to the blog page, you'll notice that we just created a guide here on our initial first process for how to withdraw your security tokens from Bank to the Future. So there's only Lottery.com is the only token where you can do that at the moment. And it just guides you through making sure your account is verified and the certification process, and then downloading the wallet, connecting it to your BnkToTheFuture.com account. And then you can see when you click on there, you can see the LDCC security token. You just need to enter any missing details. In this case, the tax ID number is missing on that person's account, so it will request it. And then you'll be able to hold those. You get your wallet whitelisted, and then it'll be whitelisted for future security tokens that are launched on the same protocol as this asset class becomes more widely distributed, because it's still at the very early nascent stage. Another announcement is for those of you that are fans of trading on Bitfinex, you'll notice that during the bull market, when so many people were trying to onboard, Bitfinex actually couldn't keep up, and they had to stop opening new accounts for some of the lower value users that were trading less than $10,000. Well, Bitfinex has now opened up the exchange again to anyone any member. I'm not sure exactly if there's any restrictions in terms of exactly who can be members. There's not quite anyone, but they've reduced the need to have the $10,000 worth of what they call equity, I guess. But just the deposit of a minimum of $10,000 before you can start using it. So they're looking to open up and become a bit more accessible. That's all the portfolio news that I've got for this week. So now what I'd like to do is head over to some of your questions, and we'll see if we can have some more interesting conversation and answer any of your live chat questions, either in Telegram, in the live chat, or whatever Famida's got for us. And I'm going to move over to my screen again so you can see me as we take these questions. Okay, I'm back.
Okie dokie. So we have some questions from last week as well, and some questions that have come through our Telegram support. So I'm just going to shoot. When selling shares on the secondary market and making a profit, am I right in believing it is not considered as a tax event as the transaction is made in USDT? If not, are you looking to provide tax statements?
We already do provide the tax details, because if you head over to the fund section of your account, you can see all the transaction history and you can see the share certificates and the history. We're about to release a new update. I know we've been talking about it for a while, to the portfolio section of your account that will make that better. But this should not be used as tax advice. I'm just giving you my opinion. I'm not a tax advisor, and we are not authorized, and I'm not a qualified tax advisor. But I do not believe that this would not be a taxable event. That completely depends on your tax residency and your individual situation. But my personal opinion is that if you make a profit on the Bank to the Future secondary market, then you are buying equity and you're selling equity at a profit. Whether you're keeping those funds in crypto, my personal opinion is that it's probably irrelevant to whether that is, you should be declaring that. And I would suggest that you get tax advice on that and declare it on your tax return, because I don't believe that that's you're exchanging one asset for another. And therefore, you're probably creating a taxable event, and shares are subject, depending on your jurisdiction and your residency, to all of the tax laws that apply in your country.
Okay, the next question I have here is, I can see my company shares and the cost in dollars, but where can I find the amount of BTC or Ether? Yeah, so I guess it's like about records.
I believe that there is, in the fund section, a more details section. I wouldn't know exactly offhand right now, but we do have that data. So if that is not actually being presented, then I'd suggest you write into support and request that as a feature request so that we can queue it up. We do currently have approximately, I think, probably over 500 feature requests that we've got in the queue looking to be implemented. So we can't exactly, we'd have to work on our priority of delivering our roadmap versus improving existing features, which is a constant challenge for the dev team. But I believe that information is something that should be available. And so I think if you head over to the fund section, go to the relevant wallet, and also bear in mind that we're actually revamping the whole portfolio section. So I think you'll see the transaction reporting and data of how the information is presented as a significant improvement. But so yeah, I do believe that under the more details, there should be details of how you paid and how much you paid. But if those aren't, then that is certainly a feature that we would like to queue into a future update and future request.
Thanks, Sai. So the next question here is, what's the status regarding corporate accounts? Will it be possible to verify a corporate account under my current personal account and switch between profiles?
Yeah, so we've been gradually iterating out. Now, while you probably don't know, because it's such a simple request to invest as a company, it's actually, the compliance is incredibly complex, because obviously most of money laundering actually happens via corporations and entities. And so therefore, there's a lot more stringent requirements. And in order to get an appreciation and understanding for a company is a lot more complex process than just simply being able to understand an individual and meet our anti-money laundering and security laws requirements. But we have actually been building out our solution. It took a bit of a back burner because we wanted to launch other features, and it got kind of pushed to the back, but it's actually, we're really close to having it developed right now. And we've implemented our new company identity solution so that you'll be able to sign up as a company and fulfill all the KYC requirements that we have, but have it be known that getting a company verified is a lot harder than verifying an individual. And then also we have to do it with the global securities laws of investing as a company in each local jurisdiction. So it's a very challenging process of what seems to be a very easy request. But we're really excited about rolling out that feature soon. The first version of it. So right now you can actually create a company page on BnkToTheFuture.com, and that will be the foundation of what you use. So if you head over, log into your account, click on the account section and hit on My Companies, there'll be a green button where you can create a new company page. And then you can also upload the documentation in preparation. But at the moment, we haven't got the ability to invest using that company, which is the next part of the release. So we've got a new identity solution, a new securities laws, compliance solution for investing as a company. And then you'll have the ability to select whether you want to invest as a company or an individual. And then obviously there's also additional complexities with a company. With an individual, obviously, you're the only person that's investing on your behalf. But with a company, we need to ensure that you're authorized to invest on behalf of the company. And therefore, there's authorization documents from other directors. And it's just a more complex solution than it sounds on the surface, but it's coming. It's important to us. We know it's a feature people want. We know it's important for tax planning. And yeah, we will be certainly rolling that out this year.
Okay, questions are rolling in now on the live chat. Have a couple now. So this one is actually an interesting one. I'm not sure whether it will apply in any way. I hope there will be an option for trading among KYC authorized accounts with dividend feature into BnkToTheFuture stock when someone deposits BFT in a KYC authorized account.
Not sure I fully understand, but let me try and answer a few things in that might be the question. So the first thing is, if a company pays a dividend and it is on the secondary market whereby I can place a buy and sell order, you can still receive that dividend. Since the secondary market has launched, we haven't actually had a dividend payment because dividend payments are extremely rare in private companies. It tends to be all about share price appreciation. And very few companies are in a position whereby they pay dividends because they tend to be investing at growth at this stage. But Bitfinex has been one of those companies that have been paying dividends. And so if you buy the shares on the secondary market and Bitfinex SP, for example, Bitfinex paid a dividend, the way that it would work is the dividend would be paid to our SPV. And then we would roll that out. We would distribute that to our SPV shareholders, and that would be minus our 5% fee for a distribution, which is all in the investment agreement when you make a purchase. So the next question was about BFT, so the Bank to the Future token. Not quite seeing the relevance of how that actually relates to dividends or the companies in general. But one of the things that we are actively working on as our next plan in the roadmap is also the Bank to the Future token integration into our securities token exchange. But I'm not sure how that actually relates to dividends and KYC'd users. Another thing that I might be able to draw into that question is Bank to the Future does have a pool of its tokens dedicated just for rewarding users. And as we launch out our identity solution, we will be actually asking investors to migrate their identity data that they've registered on BnkToTheFuture.com to our new identity solution, which will then be transportable across our different applications, like the BF wallet and some of the other things that we're working on developing. And I think, if I'm understanding correctly, using the Bank to the Future token as a reward mechanism seems like a great use case for those that actually go for the painful work that will try and make as painless as possible. But we all hate doing KYC and uploading documents. It's something that nobody likes, but unfortunately, we all have to do that. So the Bank to the Future token might be a small compensating thing we could do for those that actually go through the process of getting their account up to the next level so they can perform more actions with security tokens and various other things. I'm not sure if I answered that question, but if not, and you're listening, then whack it on the live chat. We'll try and cover it next week or now if you're here.
Thanks, Simon. The next question is, would it be possible to add a subscribe function to the blog?
Yes, I think I'm not sure exactly how we would want to implement that. Most people use what's known as an RSS feed. I think that's a feature request in the queue somewhere. But yeah, I take on board that most people do not know when there is a new blog post, and it gets hidden in the website. So we've got to figure out a better way of being able to communicate when new blog posts are actually posted. We welcome your ideas and feedback, and we'll have a word with the team. I think a conversation has already been started on how we can do that, but nothing has been actioned yet. So thank you for pushing that up as a request.
Okay, the next two questions I have are on pitches. So this one is about Circle, and they're just wondering whether Circle has actually already had a previous round somewhere else before they came to Bank to the Future to raise their funds.
1 second, I'm just going to check I think I've got my laptop plugged in, but I don't think the battery's in, so it's going to go. If I don't switch that on, give me a second. Okay, my laptop was charging, but I didn't have the switch on. That was a question on Circle. Have they done previous rounds? Most of the companies, so this is a series, don't correct me if I'm wrong, but here's how you find that out. Let me just go, let me show you exactly where you find that information. So we're on the Bank to the Future platform. Hopefully you can see my screen. Head over to the companies page and type in Circle, and you'll see their company page. On the general information, you'll see a list of all of their funding rounds, how much they raised, and more details. And it will also link through to the actual press release and announcement. In future releases, we'll also have it whereby you can see the next. I've already seen the screenshots and designs for the improvements on these pages when companies are trading. And it has a chart where you can see the funding rounds and the valuations over time. So you can see that we're on a B, C, D, E. So I think this is Series E that Circle is on right now. I think they've raised, don't quote me on this, do check this, but I think it's been approximately 740 million or maybe it's 240 million. I know that's a huge difference, but you've caught me on the spot. But those details are available for you to actually find out. So yes, they have done previous rounds, but this was a secondary trade, as opposed to, and I believe that they're currently in the process of raising more as we speak. And my guess would be that that was a higher valuation than the SPV allocation, because we did that at the same price that Goldman Sachs invested in the Series E.
Okay, and for the next question, the Coinbase deal, was it directly from Coinbase, or is the allocation from someone who bought equity and is now selling?
Yeah, so this is a secondary trade. Coinbase recently did a round, but it's at the same price as the last round that they just closed. So Coinbase is not, if the way that you would know the difference, let me just show you, is all of our primary offerings, let me show you, would be listed on the invest page, which means that it would actually be the company. So these are all examples where the company were issuing and we were syndicating part of a new funding round and the funds are going to the company. If it's a secondary deal, then that would be somebody that is an existing shareholder that is actually selling their allocation, and we're doing it at the same price as the last funding round and disclosing as much details as we actually have. So most of the deals on the secondary market are going to be other investors that are selling shares that they already have, and you'll be trading with a share, and you can an existing shareholder. And so yeah, and when we do initial allocations, it would be we would disclose these details upon the priority access deal email that you would receive, but we'll be letting you know exactly whether that's a secondary trade or a primary offering.
All right, the next question is your marketing team only Simon? If not, who else is it? And what kind of work are they doing? Will you be publishing your plan, etc.?
I don't see any value in publishing our marketing plan, because that would be pretty proprietary to the company, and I just think it would be a waste of time. But no, I'm not the only person in the marketing team. The company gets to use me. And I love going out there and presenting and evangelizing for the industry and sharing some of the things that we've done. But we personally, as a company, there's a couple of points to that question. Firstly, when you're dealing in the initial stage in a regulatory gray market, there are certain restrictions on securities and marketings that you can do. So when you're actually trying to do things in compliance with securities laws, as opposed to ICOs, which might be breaching many laws, then you have to be very careful with how you actually market things. And in order to market into a particular country, you have to have a registered license in that country. So one of the things that Bank to the Future has been doing for a long time is that making sure that we have the ability to market globally in different jurisdictions. And we're actually at, I'd say this year, probably the having everything one would need to be able to market way more aggressively in compliance with securities laws. And so that's something we've really been working on for an awful long time, in fact, and it's coming to the end of that project, which we'll be making additional announcements that will allow us to be more competitive in terms of making sure that people know who we are. And one of our 2019 goals is we recognize deliberately by design, for compliance and regulatory reasons, we've never been an aggressive marketing company. We just got to spend our time getting on with business rather than actually doing press releases. But now that we're actually in the final stage of years and years and years of work in terms of the regulatory side, we've got ourselves in a position now where we've got some really good systems, and we're actually in the process of hiring and interviewing right now for our marketing team. So if anyone is looking, has marketing expertise and would like to apply for a job, then please do send your CV. We just launched a career center on the Bank to the Future website, but it's not really live at the moment. So at the moment, it's a good old send your LinkedIn link and CV, and we'll certainly start, look at, but we're actively hiring within the marketing team right now. And the other part to that equation is that when you spend money on marketing during a bear market, because we're so correlated with the crypto bear market and bull market, you get very little return on investment during the bear market and really high return on investment during the bull. So as a business, it's up to us to time when we do our marketing and also the regulatory side. And so I think all those forces are coming together, whereby when we get ready for the next bull market, we've got our product in a really good place. We've got, we've onboarded companies that no one in the world has been able to onboard. And at the same time, we've got ourselves, in a very comfortable position with all of our regulatory compliance models and securities laws models to be able to do that more aggressively. So yeah, that's really the history of that. And we look forward to implementing and bringing on onboarding new team members, because we think it's all coming together for the perfect storm during the next bull market, the product and the regulations and everything coming together. We just see it as such a serendipitous time, really.
All right, I think this is going to be our final question. It's quite rounded. Well, there's quite a few within this one question, I guess.
All right, we'll break it down bit by bit then.
So I guess we'll start off. I guess you want to be brief on each of the accounts, because there's about 5 separate questions within this one question.
Okay.
So why get an account with Bank to the Future?
You have an account with Bank to the Future so that you can invest in equity of new early stage companies in fintech and crypto, and trade the more established companies, the equity securities tokens, and other financial products involved in the future of finance.
All right, the next one is, why deposit on Bank to the Future?
So the reason why you would deposit is if you want to gain access to the secondary market, because the only way to access a secondary market is at the moment to use USDT, Tether, so that you can place an order, a buy or sell order on the secondary market. In terms of BFT, then if you deposit 10,000 Bank to the Future tokens, you get priority access to all deals and you become a premium member. And also you get a 50% discount on all trading fees if you deposit more than 10,000 BFT, because you can use the Bank to the Future tokens to pay for your trading fees and get a 50% discount. But if you want to actually invest into the primary market, into a new deal, you don't actually have to deposit to your account, because we've got a user experience where you go to the pitch, go to the investor page, click invest in this pitch, and you can either pay by card, bank transfer, altcoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, depending on what the pitch wants to accept. And you can just do that on each pitch as a pitch by pitch basis, rather than having to actually deposit.
Okay, so along with that point that you made about the advantages of depositing, what are the competitive advantages?
Well, really, in terms of competition, at the moment, I do not believe that there is any place where you could build a portfolio in the crypto company
bear with us, people. Let's hope for Simon to return.
Yeah, that was strange. That wasn't even my internet connection. It was Gmail just logged me out of my account and asked me to put my password back.
This is not good. Let's hope he returns. If he doesn't, we might have to just cut this one short.
I'm here.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see you. Perfect.
Okay, really weird. That was a really weird one. Google just logged me out and asked me to put my password in.
That's rude.
The question was, we were just finishing off this 5-part question. I think we were on part 3.
Yeah, it was just about the competitive advantages.
Yeah, we tend to be more collaborative. So we tend to, people use Bank to the Future because there is just simply nowhere else to actually invest in the equity of such companies with such a range of payment methods and be able to trade them on the secondary market. We think we've got a very unique value proposition. But at the same time, security tokens, the industry is becoming more and more competitive, more and more people are interested. The industry is growing, and we like to collaborate with our competitors. If anyone is moving forward the growth of the cryptocurrency industry and helping the disruption of the traditional finance sector by financial technology companies, then we don't really see it as competition. We would look to collaborate wherever we can. But if somebody else is offering a deal that you can only invest in through their platform and they're doing it in a better way, then we welcome the feedback on how we can make sure that we continue to stay competitive. But at this stage, most of the deals are pretty unique to us, and I don't think many people can gain access to equity in a more accessible way than through BnkToTheFuture.com, other than being a professional venture capitalist that does this full time for their living.
All right, this is the last question, and then I think we're done for this live stream. What are the long-term visions for Bank to the Future?
The long-term vision for Bank to the Future is that we want to continue building into this. We're perfectly positioned in the security token industry because we've been doing equity and securities before anyone else. We were the first ever crypto securities business in the world, the long-term vision really is exactly what we started with, and that is that we believe the future of finance looks very different from the past, and that financial technology and crypto companies are going to be the disruption of a multi-trillion-dollar industry one step at a time. And with one investment and one deal at a time, we want to facilitate the disruption of every single financial product and facilitate that in any way, shape, or form. We have an aggressive acquisition strategy in order to fulfill that goal. And really, for want of a better phrase, we want to create what we believe Goldman Sachs should be and what can be in the crypto industry, but for today. And we've got a very aggressive acquisition strategy on how to actually get there, and a product roadmap, and ensuring that we're doing things that don't get us in too much trouble, but at the same time, remaining innovative and competitive in a very fast growing market. So next stage is more in the security token space, the secondary market rolling out so that there's real-time pricing for equity in the largest companies in crypto, bringing more and more deals. We had a whole video just on our planned roadmap of what we want to achieve over the next few years. And then also looking at the securities token exchange and some things that we would love to announce right now, but we won't until they're actually finalized and secured. So really it's building that investment bank of the future, but for the crypto industry, and facilitating the disruption of a multi-trillion-dollar industry, one investment at a time, one investor at a time, and one deal at a time.
All right, I think we're done for today's live stream, Simon.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you very much for joining me. As I said, I tried to stay on the best form I can. I've got a really troubling stomach at the moment. I hope that wasn't too distracting. I know we had some technical issues. We're actually doing some building work out here, and that's leading to some Wi-Fi challenges that we're going to definitely be solving, and also a new build out of the office. And so look forward to bringing that to you on future episodes of Bank to the Future Live. Please do like this video, please do share this video, please do comment in this video and ask any questions if you're watching during the recording. Subscribe to this channel, hit the bell button so you receive notifications. Join us in Telegram, get your account set up on BnkToTheFuture.com if you haven't done so already, and we look forward to bringing more and more deals. And if you are a member, we look forward to seeing if you can become premium members by adding those 10,000 Bank to the Future tokens, and we'll give you priority access to deals. And our goal is to bring more and more deals like that to you that you couldn't get otherwise. So just let us know, give us your feedback. We know that there's so many things to improve, and we really appreciate you joining us on this journey. Thanks for Mida for moderating. I think we had some really good and interesting questions there, and we will see you on next week for episode 10, our 10-week celebration of Bank to the Future Live. Thank you.